Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and my name is Siri. In my previous video, I told you guys that grammar is not as important as you think it is. And I've received so many comments under that video, and I wanted to clarify one thing in this video is that I never wanted to tell you guys that completely stop focusing on grammar. My intent was not to tell that. My intent was to tell you guys that we take a lot of stress in our mind because of grammar. We assume that we should know entire grammar to be fluent in English, because of which we focus too much on grammar itself, not on the four important aspects. So I wanted you guys to know that it's important that we focus on the four important aspects as well. Okay, let's say you know entire grammar, but you're not speaking, you're not focusing on even one of the aspects out of those four aspects. Do you think you will be fluent in English? Of course not. But let's say you know little grammar, but you have completely focused on the four important aspects, which are reading, writing, speaking, and listening. Do you think you will be fluent in English? Of course, yes. So this is the kind of difference I really wanted to explain. Okay, so in this video, we are going to talk about how I have learned English, how I used to practice, and I used to not focus on grammar really. Like, this is something that I'm telling you from my own experience. It might vary from person to person, but whatever I know, whatever I have learned, whatever I have practiced, that's what I'm going to tell you out of my own experience. That's it. So in this video, I am going to tell you 3 points that I used to practice, and you can consider them as points, tips, whatever you can, the ones which actually helped me to be fluent in English by not focusing too much on grammar, because I was never interested to focus too much on grammar. So without any further ado, let's get into the video. So the first point I would like to tell you is to not to miss out on any opportunity. Even if it is a small opportunity, I would not miss out on that opportunity. Now, if I have to give you an example, whenever I find some time in my hands, be it me sitting in a class, when there's a teacher absent, or me sitting idle at home, or me traveling somewhere, whenever there is some time that I can utilize, I would not let go that time. I would try my best to utilize that time towards best. Okay, for example, let's say I'm traveling. Now, while traveling, I have a lot of options. Either I can just hold my phone and start watching a movie, or start doing something that is entertaining, but I wouldn't choose that. I always tried my best to not to choose the ones which would waste my time and which would leave a guilt in my heart. I would start thinking in English, and that's how I have actually started to think in English. So whenever I'm finding some time, I always made sure that I'm thinking in English, and that's how the habit of thinking in English has been with me through these years. Even now, when I'm sitting alone at home, I would just think in English, or I would just speak with myself. So this is that small change that you can bring into your practice, not missing out on a single opportunity. You would look at that as a time but I would look at it as an opportunity. If I'm finding at least 10 minutes of time in my hands, I would look at that as an opportunity, which is giving me that ability or that capability of speaking in English. That's how I would look at time. And I think that is something that has helped me, and that's why I really wanted to mention this point. And I hope it is going to help you guys as well. Simple. What you have to do is, whenever you find some time, don't waste your time. Just try to indulge yourself into some kind of activity which would add up to your fluency. It could be you speaking out, or it could be you thinking in English, or listening to a podcast, or writing journal, or anything. Okay, this is something that you have to make sure. And point number 2 that I wanted to talk about is to not to give excuses. I have never been a fan of giving excuses. Of course, I had my journey, I have my share, because I used to give a lot of excuses, especially in the perspective of not having a partner with whom I can speak in English. So when I was in the initial days of learning this language, of course, I did not have a partner to with whom I can speak in English. So I used to be like, okay, I don't have a partner to speak in English with, so I don't have to speak in English. That's how I gave myself an excuse, a major excuse. And by giving that excuse to myself, I completely stopped speaking for 1 month, just convincing my brain and my heart that it's okay if I don't speak in English because I don't have a partner to speak in English with. If I don't have a partner, how am I going to speak in English? This is that one common excuse that I gave to my mind and my heart. And for the rest of the month, I did not even speak, even for one single day. Okay, and by the end of the month, there's no progress because I did not even speak out a single sentence in a day. How will I able to expect something out of myself? No. So by the end of the month, there's no progress. I was at the same level. I was still trying to frame sentences. I was still trying to fumble. I was still not very confident while I was speaking in English. So the next month I've decided, okay, I gave myself an excuse and nothing happened. Okay, that means excuses are not going to solve our problems, right? Solving the problem is going to solve our problem. So I told myself that, okay, it's okay if I don't have a partner to speak in English with. I have myself. So whatever happens for the next 1 month, I'm just going to speak with myself. No matter I'm speaking correct English, wrong English, it doesn't matter. But the only thing which matters is to speak out. Okay, so for the next 1 month, I'm just going to speak with myself. This is something that I told my mind and myself. And the next 1 month, I took up that challenge to speak with my own self at least for 30 minutes every single day. And I can't tell you, by the end of the month, I have improved. I have improved a lot. Now you must be thinking that how would you know if you're speaking correct English or wrong English? See, the simple answer I would like to give you over here is that something is better than nothing. The previous month, I just told myself excuses and I did not do anything in that whole month. But the next month, even if I'm speaking wrong English, at least I'm speaking. And I have self-analyzed myself. I used to observe myself a lot. I used to just record myself a video speaking in English, and I would just watch it multiple times to find out if there are any mistakes that I'm making constantly. And I would compare it with people who speak better English and see if I'm making any mistakes. And that's how I used to self-analyze myself. I used to learn from my own mistakes, and I used to learn from my own self. That's how I have actually made a habit of speaking with my own self. And now I can't even tell you how much I enjoy speaking with my own self, how much of confidence it is going to give me if I speak with my own self. And now I don't even have that complaint in my mind that I don't have a partner to speak in English with, so why should I speak in English? If I don't have a partner to speak in English with, I have myself. And that's the only answer I was able to find to that one particular excuse. And from that moment, I have decided that excuses are not going to solve our problems. Taking that step forward, no matter what, that's what is going to solve your problem. And this is something that helped me a lot. Okay, and the next amazing point I would like to tell you is to consume a lot of English content. I actually want to share one thing with you, with all of you today, is that there was a point in my life where I had nothing to do. I think it was summer holidays. So that's when I have started my journey towards learning how to speak in English. So in my summer holidays, obviously, I did not have anything to study. I had nothing to do, literally. So that's when I have developed this interest towards learning English. Okay. And of course, there used to be days where I used to start at 9 in the morning to start watching videos like interviews. You guys know how much I love interviews. So I used to start watching interviews at 9 in the morning and would take a break at 12 and have my lunch, and then I would get back to watching those interviews or any videos which would explain something in English, and till the end of the day I used to do that. And by this you can understand how much I love watching or consuming English content. One day I used to just watch English content like interviews or any other videos, but another day I would just listen to a podcast, I would just learn a song, I would just write something, I would do all this stuff. So by this you have to understand that consuming a lot of English content is also very important to speak. Now in a lot of my videos itself I tell you guys that you have to speak more. How can you speak? When you have some words in your mind, only when you have some sentences in your mind. Now how can you actually memorize all those sentences? I wouldn't say memorize, but you need to have those sentences in your mind, right? So to have those sentences in mind, or to have those words in mind, it's very important that we consume a lot of English content. Let's say while you're watching an interview, you observe the celebrity very well who is giving the answers, and you kind of observe the kind of sentences that are being used by the celebrity. So it's very much obvious that you might remember the sentences, okay? Now by keeping those sentences as base, you can create your own sentences, and that's how you can speak out. And this is something that I have figured out for myself, and that's something that helped me a lot to speak out more. So it's important that you have something as base to create something of your own, okay? So start consuming a lot of English content. And I used to consume a lot of English content, and I still do, especially interviews. I can never talk enough about interviews because I just love them. But I don't know, people find them boring, but I just love them. You guys let me know in the comment section, do you guys find interviews interesting? Because I just love them. You guys let me know your opinion on this. So these are the 3 points or the 3 tips that has helped me to be fluent in English. And you must be thinking that these are such basic tips, but they are important. They are basic but very, very important, which actually helped me to be fluent in English. And in these whatever aspects that I've mentioned, I never really focused on grammar, because as I told you, I had only basic idea of grammar. So I have just said that as a base, and apart from that I worked on speaking, writing, listening and reading. And working on those 4 aspects has also helped me to a great extent. So the only point I would like to tell you is that grammar alone is not going to make you fluent in English. Apart from grammar, there are many other important aspects that you have to focus on. So that's what I really wanted to tell you guys. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, please give it a like and share it with your friends, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And do let me know in the comment section how did you like the video. I will see you guys very soon. Till then, you take care. I'll see you soon. Bye.